This week on Emily's Celtics Weekly, Thanksgiving was a little brighter for some Boston residents thanks to Celtic guard Reggie Lewis. The Celtics go 3 for 4 and move into a tie for first place in the Atlantic Division. And a new Laker team unites in the face of adversity. All this and more next on Emily's Celtics Weekly.
Emily's Celtics Weekly, brought to you by Emily Motor Oil. Better than it has to be. And now, here's your host, Mike Gorman.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Emily's Celtics Weekly. Well, for most of us, this past week was a pretty easy one. Time to visit with relatives, enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday, and enjoy that long weekend. For the Celtics, though, it was a busy week with 4 games, and although the team did have Thanksgiving Day off, they sure were active the rest of the time. And one Celtic took time out from that busy schedule to make sure that others in the Boston community would also have a happy Thanksgiving.
For the second consecutive year, Reggie Lewis took time out of his busy schedule to bring some joy and happiness to hundreds of families in the Boston area. Reggie and his wife Donna gathered some of their friends at Northeastern University last Tuesday to help distribute 350 turkeys. What has become an annual tradition, the Lewises have decided to give back a little of the warmth and support that the community has shown Reggie over the years.
Well, that's what it's all about, giving. I feel very fortunate enough to be in my situation, so I'm just trying to give back to the community. And I think it's great this year because we having people come from everywhere, you know, and it's just a good feeling knowing that somebody will be home eating my Reggie Lewis turkey on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you know, it's fun kind of planning and seeing like the group of people come in that have won the turkey. It's kind of nice seeing the excitement of winning a turkey and also to meet Reggie.
Matthews Arena on the campus of Northeastern University was quite an appropriate site for this turkey giveaway. Reggie's first contact with the city of Boston came as a college freshman enrolled at Northeastern University in 1983.
It couldn't be a better site. Last year it was held at a different venue, and earlier in the fall, Donna called me, and of course she's a Northeastern graduate as well as Reggie, and asked if they could kindly move back into the arena where, of course, both Northeastern and Reggie enjoyed 4 wonderful years, and we said, you betcha, and we're just having another wonderful day here today, as we had about 15 a year for 4 years when Reggie was playing out on that court just a few feet away from us. So it's a marriage made in heaven, and we're sure happy to be part of it.
Northeastern has always been great to me, and they still are. You know, they let me use their facilities, and I think it's just great, especially the way things are flowing right now.
Now year-round residents of Boston, Donna and Reggie have grown to love the area and cultivate many dear friends.
It's a whole team concept because we all have a common goal, and that's helping other people out. And not only that, the major focus here is Reggie.
Reggie helped me out in certain things. He knows what I'm talking about, so I like to repay my gratitude and also help other people.
I never saw anyone from freshman year through senior year who, of course, came here unheralded. I don't have to reiterate the story that he was the 6th man on his high school team and came here and was just another one of 5 freshmen, and, of course, turned out to be Northeastern's greatest basketball player, yet was the same young man he was in 1987 that he was in 1984.
The 350 turkey winners were chosen at random from over 1,500 entries. Every one of them appreciated the effort of the Lewises.
At this time of the year and for Thanksgiving, it's the spirit and the season of sharing. I can't think of a better idea.
It's a tough time around the economy around here in Massachusetts right now, and you got to feel bad for the folks who may not have a Thanksgiving this year.
I'm thankful for that he has the opportunity to do this for the blacks of the community, and this of our races truly. And I'm taking this turkey to Mama. She don't know it yet, but it's come to her. Yeah.
I think it's excellent that he wants to give back to the community. You know, I appreciate it.
We thank him very much. Hope he has a happy holiday too.
Some people don't have enough money to buy turkeys, and I guess it's good for him to help people out.
With added experience comes better knowledge in the organization. Last year, Reggie's turkey giveaway was a first-come, first-served venture. This year, due to the overflow of people, a lottery system was devised.
Northeastern did a lot of the legwork, and they came up with the idea of the drawing, which I thought was really wonderful, because it was kind of sad to see people come out and wait in line for a turkey, and then they don't receive one. So it was interesting, because one of the drawings that we pulled had wrote this long letter saying, "I stood outside last year and I didn't win a turkey." So it was nice to see that this year she was able to get one.
It's a team concept, and that's how the approach was. It was a team effort that this event came to what it is today.
Hopefully each year, I just want to be able to give out more and more turkeys each year, because last year there was a lot of people who didn't give a turkey, so I just want to be able to do as much as I can.
Each year we want to try to just progress and give a little bit more. He's been fortunate, and to include even additional families, we thought that would be wonderful.
While the recipients were feeling good about winning a turkey and meeting Reggie Lewis, the real winners may have been all the organizers of this great event.
Well, you never know what may come of it. Hopefully this will be an ongoing process, because we love doing it. We love coming out here, meeting the people in the community and just giving them turkeys. And it's something we're looking forward to continue for the next several years.
It feels great. Just to see him being able to give back to the community, and just to see the smiles on people's faces, it's wonderful.
It's the faces when you see how happy they are. It's just, it just makes you feel good. And he's excited about doing this. He likes seeing the people, and he's like more, really people oriented. So he's excited.
I feel good through him because he's doing a great deed, and me being able to help him out in this respect, packing up the turkeys and passing them out with him, makes me feel good too.
The minute Reggie came here, he became a very intimate part of the Northeastern community, and certainly part of the Boston community too. And of course, now that he's dancing on a much larger stage and as a much larger persona, of course, it's wonderful to see him becoming as large a figure in the Boston community as I assure you, and you well know, he was in his 4 years here at Northeastern University.
It makes me feel real great on the inside. Just knowing that, they won't go without a turkey on Thanksgiving. They'll have a nice meal, and that's a good feeling.
It's really great to see Reggie Lewis giving back to people and giving back to the community, especially remembering when he was younger, growing up in Baltimore. Sometimes he didn't have anything on his table, especially around the holidays. This trend of giving away turkeys in other cities is not only caught on here, but across the NBA. Other players are doing it, and hopefully Reggie Lewis continues to be a trendsetter. I'm Willie May, the Sports Channel.
One smile is worth 1,000 words.
How's that?
Do you have it?
All right, I got it.
Okay, happy holidays.
Thank you.
Reggie Lewis, obviously a busy man this week, but so were the rest of the Celtics. 4 games, and in 3 of them, the Celtics looked very good. All the highlights and more when Emily Celtics Weekly continues. Kicks it back out to Reggie. Reggie takes it in the paint. Strong move. Oh!
I tell you, took it right to Grant, put it in his face.
Just a week ago tonight, the Celtics were second in the Atlantic Division standing, so obviously the 2 matchups early in the week against Atlantic Division rivals were important. Well, first on Monday night, Boston traveled down to Hartford to take on the Washington Bullets. Michael Adams would get the Bullets off on the right foot. He picks Robert Parrish's pocket right there. Eventually, Washington finds the rookie Larry Stewart on the layup. He had 13, and the Bullets led at this point 15-14. But Robert Parrish would give another strong night with the double-double, 16 points and 11 rebounds. Celtics go up by 5 and then by 8 on that 3-pointer by Ricky Green at the end of the first quarter. John Bagley showing some defense here as he blocks Michael Adams on the fast break. Reggie Lewis eventually coming up with the loose ball and getting the easy dunk on the other end. The Celtics explode to a 16-point lead. Purvis Ellison would have as good a game as you've seen against the Celtics, coming up with the dunk there. Ellison finished with 30, but here's the play that turned the game around. Michael Adams gets injured, dislocates a finger, and is gone for the rest of the night. Reggie Lewis had a great night for Boston down in Hartford. A season-high 37, some of them of the easy variety. Larry Bird continues to show a hot hand outside. The trailer here buries the three, and the Celtics go up 92-75. Joe Klein with good hustle both on the offensive and defensive end. Trailing Ricky Green here gets the tip in. Boston's got a 15-point lead. Looking for a play of the night? How about Rick Fox over Purvis Ellison for the stuff? The Bullets, though, they're the type of team that just don't go away. Again, Ellison showing some nice moves underneath. The Celtic lead is down to 9. And then Andre Turner, who came in place of Michael Adams, gets the layup, and Boston's lead is down to 6. But again, Larry Bird shows the shot outside, and the Celtics win going away.
They're a scrappy team, and you know, a lot of times they don't look that good running around out there working their plays, but they get the job done. It's just unfortunate Michael went out of the game, or they'd probably been a lot closer game.
They just stay with it, you know. Even if they're shooting the ball poorly or whatever, they just keep working hard. And you got to credit West instilling that confidence and that kind of determination in his players. They come out and they play hard every night.
On Washington, they always give us a tough time, man. It doesn't matter how many points they're down. They always seem to hang right in there, and it's a fight at the end of the game every time we play them.
Against the Orlando Magic, John Bagley got the Celtics off on the right foot. Bags with the steal, then goes coast to coast for the jump shot, and the Celtics go up early by 2. Robert Parrish with the good hands. Kevin Gamble starting to put up numbers that resemble last year's. 14 for Kevin on the night, and Boston holds on to their lead. This night would belong to Larry Bird, still hot from the outside as he buries the 3, and the Celtics go up by 9. But Brian Williams, the rookie, with 10 points and 9 rebounds, cuts the Celtic lead to 4. Then Sam Vincent comes up with the steal. Eventually, Dennis Scott finds Greg Kite, 11 and 12, the numbers for Greg, and the Celtics are up by just a deuce. Robert Parrish coming up with the loose ball to Larry Bird. Good look for Rick Fox, and the Celtics have a 48-40 lead. But then the Magic come back. Scott Skiles here will find Dennis Scott. Scott had 21, and the Magic had their first lead, 49-48. Then Skiles for the three-pointer outside, and the Magic are up by 3. But Larry Bird with some defense. The block on Dennis Scott right there. John Bagley ahead to Reggie Lewis on the break, and the Celtics go up by 5, 59-54. Then it's Reggie Lewis's turn on the defensive end. Great block there on Nick Anderson. Gets it ahead to Rick Fox. He hits the jump shot. Rick had 11, and the Celtics led by 12. Again, Larry Bird with the 3 to end the third quarter. The Celtics have a 15-point lead, and then the Celtics kind of turn it on late. Nice pass by Bird. 18 for Reggie Lewis. Celtics win it going away.
Well, we're trying to get as consistent as possible, you know, even though we're not playing artistic basketball every night out, but we are getting a win, and that's the most important thing. So things are slowly but surely falling into place for us.
We just started to take our time. We took better care of the ball down the stretch, and we just executed our offense all the way through. Before, we were just making too many turnovers, starting to force things. Things started to come too easy, and just took us out of our offense and out of our rhythm.
I thought both Bagley and Green doing a good job, and Bird keeps the whole thing together, and Fox is a nice addition. Reggie Lewis is a threat, and whenever we made a mistake, they capitalized, and that's what the good teams do.
We did a poor job playing defense there in the second quarter, and really couldn't get a handle on the ball. We just let them get too many offensive rebounds on us, and when you do that, that usually ends up in easy baskets for them.
Well, those two games showed an ever-improving Celtic team. They were running and they were scoring, third in the league, despite all the injuries at midweek. But Friday night would prove to be the real test. The Los Angeles Lakers, on a 9-game winning streak, were headed for the Boston Garden. It'll be East versus West when Emily Celtics Weekly continues. Bagley the up quick, pull up. John! Welcome back to Emily Celtics Weekly, everyone. You know, since Magic Johnson announced his retirement on November 7th, the Los Angeles Lakers have played surprisingly well. After losing their first game, the Lakers rebounded to win 9 straight and become a dominant force in the West. Now, Magic did not travel with his teammates to Boston to cheer them on, but early on, they didn't need it. Not a lot to choose from in these two clubs early. Byron Scott to Sam Perkins. The game is tied at 8 in the first quarter. Larry Bird comes up with a steal, and Bird hustles down the court to get the eventual layup, and we have another tie late in the first at 24. James Worthy would be a real thorn in the side for the Celtics. Worthy comes up with the block and the dunk on the other end, and the Lakers have a 5-point, 33-28 lead. Again, it's James Worthy free underneath. Lakers by 5, 35-30. Worthy had 27 in the night. Eddie Pinckney getting free, and the Laker lead is cut to 2, 41-39. Then John Bagley to Robert Parrish, 17 and 13 the numbers for the Chief. Lakers, though, still lead by 2, but John Bagley takes over. Couple of great moves late in the second quarter. John had 14 overall. The Celtics take a 50-48 lead. This Larry Bird drive for a layup key to 16-2 run. Boston up by 10. And then Ricky Green finding Joe Klein underneath for an easy 2. AC Green hit this jumper to end the third. The Celtic lead was cut to 7. But Rick Fox coming up with the good move. The Celtics lead by 9. And then they pull away. Bird with 3 of his 22.
We're playing a lot better. Baggs played a great game tonight. Ed Pinckney played a great game, and the other guys are starting to pick it up. And if we can get help from the bench and get help from our point guards like that every night, we're going to win a lot of games.
Bagley, he came alive tonight of all nights, and we just didn't cover our rotations the way we normally have been doing, and they got too many easy buckets, and we just never could regroup from that.
We was able to get out in spurts. We was able to do what we wanted, and that was to get some easy baskets.
And they got all those big guys, and they just post up, and you got to definitely go down and double, and they just pick you apart, and that's how they won the game.
We did a much better job defensively and also rebounding, and I feel like we was able to open things up after that.
I think we got a little lackadaisical. Maybe got a little too over-cocky, overconfidence, and they brought us back down to earth to let us know that we still have a lot of work to do.
Celtics were due for a letdown, and it came against the Atlanta Hawks. Kevin Willis would have a monster night for the Hawks. Here's Willis again for 2 of his 30 as he hangs on the rim, and the Hawks are up by 3, 19-16. Larry Bird finds Rick Fox on the cut here. Fox a career-high 31 to tie the game at 22. And then Joe Klein inside again to Rick Fox, and the Celtics are up by 2. But the rookie Paul Graham of the Hawks had a good night, 16 to put the Hawks up by 7, 49-42. And then Graham the steal. Dominique Wilkins would eventually get the jumper on the other end. Dominique had 21, and the Hawks led 51-42. Alexander Volkov, he even got into the act, driving through the lane, and the Hawks lead by 17 in the third. How about Willis? 22 rebounds on the night for Kevin. Gets the rebound. Volkov again on the drive, and the Hawks are up 83-67. Kevin Pritchard got some minutes in this game, gets his own rebound, finds Ed Pinckney for a dunk to make it 83-67. However, Dominique Wilkins got out on the fast break, and Larry Bird and Robert Parrish could only look on. So a big win by the Hawks snaps the Celtic winning streak. Now, you might remember that Dennis Johnson's number was supposed to be retired last Friday night, but with all the attention surrounding Magic Johnson and the Lakers in Boston, Celtic management decided a more appropriate ceremony could be held on Friday, December 13th, when Seattle comes to the Garden, and that's when they'll do it. As for the Lakers, the retirement of their point guard has forced others to move into leadership roles. We'll take a closer look at this new Los Angeles Laker team when Emily Celtic Weekly continues. Teagle, another turnover, and Threet's got 5 steals in the game. Perkins, nice dish for Worthy. Welcome back once again, everyone, to Emily Celtics Weekly. I'm Mike Gorman. Magic Johnson's retirement not only stunned the basketball world, but it deeply affected his teammates in Los Angeles, both emotionally and on the basketball court. Now, from a personnel standpoint, the Lakers lost arguably the best player ever to play the game, so his talent is irreplaceable. Yet emerging from this loss has come a solid basketball team, led by James Worthy and Sedale Threet. So don't count the Lakers out yet.
We had 2 choices. We could have sulked in this thing. We could have really, took a 360-degree turn the opposite way. And our feelings are still the same. We still feel, emotionally, it's just an uncomfortable situation to deal with, particularly when it hits home. But I don't really think we're no different than any other businessman. If a businessman has a death in his family, or if someone's ill in his family, he still has to go to work and do his job. And we try to keep that perspective.
The way we are approaching this, there's no replacing Magic Johnson. And, each guy has to just turn his game up a little bit. And just the commitment. The only thing I've ever asked anyway from a player has been to come out and play as hard as he could play on that night. And only he knows how hard that is. But I can tell you right now that I know that they are giving everything they've got every night.
Instead of struggling with the loss of magic, the Lakers have responded by playing excellent basketball, winning 10 out of 12 games, and climbing back into their accustomed position atop the Pacific Division.
Really, the defense has been pretty consistent throughout. It's something that we've concentrated on. Offensively, we're trying to execute our game plan and stick with whatever the coach's assignments are that evening. But by and large, the defense makes it easy for us. And if it's going to be hard, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a pretty easy night, so to speak. It's going to be all depending on how the defense goes. And so we're having a good, concentrated effort out there.
We've been able to shut teams down in the fourth quarter when we've had to. And at the same time, we've been able to create a lot of easy baskets, which we were getting from Irv. But now we have to get them another way.
No one on the Lakers has made a bigger adjustment than Sedale Threatt, an 8-year NBA veteran acquired this year from Seattle. It is Threatt who has taken over Magic's starting point guard position, a position known throughout the NBA as the one spot.
I think everybody don't realize that I'm an old guy. I've been in the league 8 years, and I've been in a lot of pressure situations, and I think this wasn't a lot of pressure. I mean, if it was a young guy in this spot, it would have been tough on him, but I've been around the league 8 years. I don't play with these guys so many years. You know them, and I've been in so many situations. I think last 2 years in Seattle, I got a lot of experience at the one, and I was going back and forth in Seattle, so now the Lakers have put me in that one spot.
Well, he's a veteran player. He's a smart player. He's been around. He knows, he knows a lot of things to begin with, but I think that it'll still be a little while before he's totally comfortable and really knows our people. He's just gotten here, and he's got to learn personnel, and he's doing a great job, though.
One thing difficult now is Mike putting in new plays every game, seems like, and these guys know everything, and try to get acclimated to everybody is probably the only thing that, it's kind of tough.
As the Lakers move throughout the season, they will be watched closely as observers try to determine the impact of the loss of one of the greatest players ever.
Well, naturally, they have to be different because you lose Magic's points, his rebounding, the fact that he breaks all the double teams. Now, Sedale Threatt is doing a magnificent job. Once again, Jerry West strikes again, and it's much in the favor of the Los Angeles Lakers. And Jerry has been magnificent ever since he's been the general manager. He seems to know what the team needs, and then when he does anoint a guy to come join the team, they all produce.
Magic is one of the greatest players ever, but defensively they couldn't get up and really pressure other teams in the backcourt. And now with Sedale Threatt, with Tony Smith, Byron Scott, those kind of players are really able to extend their defense, almost to 3/4 of the court. So it really causes other defenses, other teams problems because it runs time off the shot clock. Then you're rushed into quick shots, and they're such a good rebounding team. So the defensive areas, which I think they've really improved on.
If Campbell will get healthy, Vlade gets healthy at playoff time, I think they will surprise a lot of people exactly like they did last year.
There is one longtime observer who thinks that the loss of Magic could be devastating to this year's title hopes in Lakerland.
They're still very talented. They're going to win a lot of games, and they'll probably go pretty far in the playoffs. But as far as winning a championship, I don't know. You got to have the man, and he's not there, and it's going to hurt him.
Only 2 games on the Celtics schedule this week. On Wednesday night, the red-hot Miami Heat. They've had a great start this year. We'll see them for the first time, 7 o'clock for the pregame show. And then on Friday night, could be the battle for first place in the Atlantic Division. Pat Riley comes to town for the first time, the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics. Hope to see you here on Sports Channel for both of those games, and see you next week on Amalie Celtics Weekly.